Actress Yvonne Nelson is saying that people who have not registered for the voters ID shouldn't bother at all. Now, this is her tweet. Politician, stay home, stay safe. People, okay. Politician, go out and register. People, okay. Me, the politician doesn't care about you. Use your common sense. This election won't change anything in your life. Joining crowded queues endangers your life. That's her tweet. And we all know the coronavirus that the country is fighting now. We've crossed 23,000 confirmed cases. Active cases is near 5,000. And as it stands, 129 persons have unfortunately succumbed to the disease. Karim, have you registered?
No, I've not.
Not?
No,
when do you intend to register?
I'm not quite sure
or
if I
you
would.
don't? You don't?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would register.
Why?
Well, a couple of reasons. None like what Yvonne Nelson is saying in the news. It's for me. It's just been about the time, and then again also about the health concerns. Owing to these two, if it so happens that there is a safer way for me and I have time, I would register. I have nothing against the process itself or the election itself. It's just that in terms of maybe priorities, I've not found the registration a very big one that takes away the other concerns or issues that I have. So maybe that's just it.
I am tempted to ask Nene a similar question, but it seems to me I know the answer already. So
what are you trying to say? Say what you are thinking. What are you trying to say?
I know you
won't register.
I will register.
Even if they give you $1 million,
I'll register.
So you register.
I'll register. I've not registered, but I register. The reason why I register is that, you see, I care about money. I'm a capitalist, first and foremost. And usually the most credible ID card in Ghana, probably apart from the driver's license and passport, is the voter's ID card. That's what most businesses in Ghana accept for the purpose of doing business. So I'll probably register for the purpose of doing business.
Okay.
Then you don't have to do it now. You can do it later.
Obviously.
Yeah, when I think it's
Safer.
when not safer, I don't really care about that part. When I think it's convenient for me, because I have to go and register in my village.
Okay. Looking at the circumstance we find ourselves now and the measures that have been put in place, you think people who go to register are risking their lives?
The safest thing to do about COVID right now is to contract the virus. If you get the virus, then your body can start developing antibodies for it to fight it when you get it later on.
But what if you die? People are dying. So why would you want to contract them because you want to get the antibodies?
Death is a risk we all take by being alive. When I was coming here, I came in a car. I could have died in a car accident. I ate this morning. I could have choked on water. Death is a risk you take every day for being alive. So I'm not really a big fan of living in the fear of death.
Karim,
Are
you okay with how this registration and the COVID issue is being handled?
I'm not, but just before I do that, if you would permit me, I take a very strong exception to Nene's point, so okay. I guess I'd have to very quickly engage that. I like how philosophical it's sounding with how as we live.
I'm not sounding philosophical for the point of sounding philosophical. That's how I live my life.
No, I get it. I'm just saying that it's a very philosophical thing to say, that we by merely living, I mean that we're taking risk to eventually die. I mean all of us are going to die somehow, but then again, there is a reason a lot of people, I mean if you look at the victims, those who are worst hit, like communities, for instance, if you look at all the protocols that so far can help us address this problem, you would find that the poorer you are, the riskier it is for you. And in many instances, of course, the rich people die, poor people die, and all of that. So that means that any approach that we take must be very sensitive of all of these. Other than that, we are treading the path of eugenics. We are treading the path of saying that, well, let it be, let the strongest survive. Because, as you're saying, the COVID-19 and all the issues that surround it keep changing. Even the point that contract the virus and you develop an antibody, it's not conclusive.
But that point is not exclusive to COVID. That is exclusive to every disease.
Yes, and especially for COVID, I would even argue that it is even riskier to take that chance, because you must have a strong immune system to be able to at least fight it. And there's no proof to suggest that if you contract the coronavirus and then you are cured of it, you develop an immunity to it. That means that there's the likelihood of contracting it again. So if you go the way Nene is advocating, for instance, how many times do you have to contract it to be safe? And mind you, even those who get safe or recover from it, there's also a lot of publications and research that suggests that you don't have your full body in the way that it was before you contracted the virus. I mean, even in terms of amnesia, people develop amnesia, people develop so many other things. That means that this is very risky, and so it would be very reckless for anybody to take that sort of action. I mean, we're seeing it in Sweden. Herd immunity, let the people go and get it, and things will be fine. But things are really not fine, because if you compare Sweden against their neighbors in the Scandinavian area, what you'd find is that Finland have been able to do better in terms of cutting down the number of people who fall to COVID-19. Norway have done better as against Sweden and all of that. And so there's not much there to learn from. And so the best you must do is try as much as possible to avoid it. But that's aside. I just go to Abrantepa's point very quickly. See, Abrantepa, I think that if you look at the situation that we find ourselves in, I mean, it's difficult to know what else someone must do to address this. And so it's a tight position that we are in. There are a lot of things that we could have done to not put ourselves in the condition that we are in, especially if you come to this voters registration thing. We could have decided as a country to say, well, we're not going to go through with this process at all, or two, we're not going to even conduct elections at all. But the point is that as the rhetoric has come to be, this has come to stay with us, we must find a way. The only thing we can always constantly do is to find what better alternatives exist to allow us to go through the process. Because, I mean, if you follow the politics, the Electoral Commission made the point that this voter register that we have is not fit for purpose before COVID-19 hit Ghana. So if that point is true, then it means that if we use the current register, the outcome of that register being used for election would mean that that would not be credible. So you cannot therefore say that, well, COVID is dangerous, so let's go ahead and use the register that the institution that is organizing the election says that it's not credible. What at all would they be overseeing then? So would you say, for instance, that today, if a coup happened and someone else became president, that would be okay because going to the polls to conduct elections or to vote was risky because of COVID-19. So it's a very difficult position to be in, but what we can do is to make the systems better, and I don't think the Electoral Commission has done that very well so far.
I see. Nene, you think the citizens are being careful enough from what you've seen at these registration centers?
The answer would be no, but I don't blame the citizens for that.
Law enforcement?
Not law enforcement, I say government communication. Because the government communication, the COVID thing, is not consistent, or it's not, what's the word I should use? It's not consistent because the government doesn't seem to have a position on the COVID pandemic and how it should handle it. In the examples I gave, whether you agree with the position of the government or not, the government took a position. You understand?
Yeah.
But in Ghana, our government has not taken a position. One, the president will say, what's the name? We can't bring back people from, what did they say?
Yeah.
We know how to bring back the economy. We know how to bring back people back to life.
He opened up the economy.
Yeah.
So you ask yourself, did he figure out how to bring back people from the dead the following week? So you see, because
and that's because they had been told that the COVID is here to stay, so we should find a way to live our normal lives.
The government has not done a good job in communicating that to the citizen, because the government opened schools.
Not all schools. Final year students.
Schools where kids will be sitting in classrooms. He opened churches. You understand? And so let's forget about everything else. Schools and churches are the places where people congregate the most in this country. And so when you open schools and open churches and you tell churches that they should
1 hour.
1 hour.
No more
My
than
church
100.
Pentecost, we use 1 hour 30 minutes for just announcement. So what are you going to use 1 hour for? I don't think there's any apart from the Orthodox churches, I don't think there's any church that is obeying the 1 hour rule. You understand? So that has conditioned the mind of the people that it is safe to congregate, because we are congregating in church anyway. Our kids are congregating in schools anyway. So we can also congregate everywhere else. So I think the government communication and the actions the government have taken, because in the states, some states, I know that especially in California state, right, the churches are still closed, even though voters registration is going on. And because the churches are still closed, it gives the people the mental picture that this thing is still dangerous. So we don't have to go out. So the people take the measures they're supposed to take because of the actions the government took. And so I think the government have told the people implicitly that they can congregate how they want to.